One more slime. We're gonna...
Stolen valor.
We're gonna slug on you. I can't. What's the next line?
I don't know. I haven't had time to think of it.
God damn. Okay, that's your homework assignment for when you're not paying attention during this episode. Hey everyone, we're back. Let's find out what hole we're dragging ourselves into here.
In light of the new evidence, I'd like to go over the death of Dr. Ashur one more time. What happened Friday night? At 6:30 p.m., David Ashur spoke on the phone with his lover and the two of them broke things off.
Lover? It is an accurate... Oh my god, that was way out. It is an accurate description of their relationship, isn't it? I wouldn't know. That stuff is private. I deny.
Then the deceased met with Noble VP Helen Young in his parlor starting around 7:30 p.m. He then left the parlor in the sightlines of his home security system before reappearing on his private secondary security system in his basement moments later. At which point the android Sarah can be seen handing him the poison he'd go on to drink. And do you see that android in the courtroom? Yep, she's the green-haired one that's frowning at me.
Funny that London, despite saying like there's no point in getting mad at androids because they're not, they can't feel anything, he's still anthropomorphizing Sarah.
Oh, I mean, how else am I supposed to feel about this?
Let the record show that the android Sarah has been identified at the scene of the crime.
No objections.
None. Then why'd I even show up? Detective London, what happened next? Ashur went upstairs and shared a drink with Ms. Young. Within a few minutes, he was being airlifted to the hospital, where he was soon declared dead. We know that the poison could be produced by his manufacturer, which Sarah had access to just up the stairs in his workshop. So, Sarah had ample opportunity to procure the poison, and Sarah handled Dr. Ashur's cup immediately before he did.
Interesting that London is anthropomorphizing Sarah and using pronouns, but Emma is just referring to the android as Sarah. Which is really noticeable because you use it twice in the same sentence, because that's how... Interesting. Is there a question in that statement, Your Honor?
I'll rephrase. Was anyone else seen handling Dr. Ashur's cup before he died? Nope. I have no further questions. So, that's your witness, counselor?
He wasn't lying, per se, but there was some ambiguity in the statement he gave. Truth's gotta come out one way or another. If Emma won't push, I'll have to pull. Talk screen, basement footage, whiskey. He did claim that Sarah handed him the poison.
Mm-hmm.
When we don't see that, we see her handing him the...
All right, so let's
we know we can read it through. 7:30 p.m. Helen Young arrived. Okay, spoke briefly. Then he went downstairs to get drinks. Got it. Cameras in the basement show Sarah handing him the cups and whiskey. So after he came back to the parlor and started drinking, it wasn't long until he lost consciousness and died. Drinking poisoned whiskey while he thought it was having a toast. Don't know if that's a good way or a bad way to go out. Okay, interesting. What do we feel like? I heard a slight slip up in there. Could go nowhere, but at this stage I need to pick at every loose thread I can. Okay. So this is pretty rock solid. I don't think we have anything to argue with there. That again, pretty rock solid. Spoke briefly, then he went downstairs to get drinks from. Yep, seems about right. Cameras in the basement show Sarah handing him the cups and the whiskey. Yep, that is true. After he came back to the parlor and started drinking, wasn't long until he lost consciousness and died. Is that he failed to mention anything about the poison in the cups and whiskey?
Drinking poisoned whiskey. Was the whiskey
here
poisoned?
we go.
Whiskey? Yeah.
Wanna bet?
Huh. That the best you've got?
I didn't think it was all that bad.
Depends on the grading curve. I give you an F. Overruled.
What do you mean overruled? It wasn't poisoned.
I don't understand what we're...
What did we get
going
wrong
for
there?
here.
No, legitimately. I'll need to choose my responses more carefully than that.
Talk screen,
Basement footage, and whiskey. Here, let's just bring this around.
Do we have access before we go? Oh, yeah. So we have talk screen and whiskey and basement footage.
That one felt like we really should have had it. I felt strange about that one. Let's perform on David Assure when he arrived at... Alcohol was the only Oh, so he had no poison in his system. Maybe that's what we're supposed to
Let's look at the others, though, instead.
Yep. What are the other ones?
So that what did we just do? Was it talk screen?
Yeah, that was the talk screen.
Then there's whiskey.
No foreign elements or toxins. Yeah.
And then there's basement footage.
She didn't hand him the whiskey.
Yep. There we go. Didn't hand him the whiskey.
Okay. Wanna bet? Check that footage again, Detective London. We only see Sarah handing the victim a cup. He had already retrieved the whiskey himself.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Detective London just wasn't being specific enough, Your Honor. But it matters little, since it was David's cup, not the whiskey bottle that was poisoned.
I see. But by arguing that that point was false, we've then conceded an earlier untruth. Okay, I get it.
Weird flex, but okay. And that undeniable fact is shown clearly in the security footage. Sarah hands him a cup after he was ready to leave.
True, she did call David back and handed him a cup of poison? Interesting. I mean, it wouldn't make sense in the sense that it seemed like he was already ready to leave, right? So he had his cups to go, and she hands him a third cup?
I don't think that's what's described.
Okay. Let me see the backlog real quick here. What exactly are we?
Sarah hands him a cup after he was ready to leave.
I don't think that makes sense. I don't think we gotta... If the cup was already poisoned, don't you think David would have noticed it wasn't empty?
Well, not necessarily. The lethal dose could have been quite small. If it were just a droplet, he could have easily overlooked it. For Sarah, this crime was very simple. There was too little to the plan for anything to go wrong. Once she handed it off, she just had to wait for him to drink from his cup.
Is that all she'd have needed to do?
It isn't.
No. That was because she didn't know whether it was going to be him or Young that drank from it.
Yeah, either of them could have drunk from that cup.
Not a great plan if that really was Sarah's move. She gave him 2 cups. How could she have known which cup David would drink from?
There are a few ways to go about it, but it's only a 50-50 shot, counselor. Stranger things have happened.
No, there's no way she knew the right cup. Don't try and bluff me, Rockford. There was no difference between the cups.
It's not a bluff. Sarah handed the cups to him in one stack, with the poison hidden in the bottom cup. She knew David was courteous and would pour for his guest first. So he wouldn't even look into the poisoned cup until he was already pouring. Cold-blooded patricide executed by taking calculated advantage of Dr. Assure's kindness.
Damn. She was luring me in with all those easy answers, and I fell for it.
Now, are there some questions you'd like to ask the detective while he's available? Or are you done already?
I was just about to get started. Even if I didn't have questions, I'd make some up just to spite you at this point. But I can do better than that. And what can I get London to say that would help my case? This seems interesting.
Yeah.
Detective London, in their capacity as assistants to the police force, are androids ever asked to commit acts of violence?
Yeah, I guess so. They can push people, restrain them, harm them.
And does that constitute a violation of their tenets? Harming people they're supposed to protect?
Well, as I understand it, there might be some complex weighting math that goes into it, but no, it's not breaking any tenets. For that to be the case, they'd have to have tenet 1, right? May not injure or through inaction leads to blah blah blah.
Yes, I suppose that would have to be the case, wouldn't it?
Are you asking me?
This is far outside his expertise. Asking him these kinds of technical questions accomplishes nothing other than making us both look dumb to the jury. Fair enough. I didn't think that was that far off field, but I can see why that may have been.
Let's ask about ad-involved crime.
Detective, do you know how many violent incidents the city's police have investigated in the last year?
Not the exact number.
Thousands, though?
Yeah, around there.
And of those thousands of incidents of violence, do you know how many of them were found to be the fault of automated dependents?
I believe there's been 6 in the last 5 years.
Were all 6 of them incidents of police-licensed ad-involved brutality?
Relevance, Your Honor?
Withdrawn. No.
won't know that.
That's bait. That's bait.
Yeah, he won't know that.
Detective, in the footage we just saw, could you see what Sarah was doing?
Not exactly, no. Her back was to the camera and her hands were obscured.
Could you see her hands from any other clip of camera footage retrieved from the basement?
No.
Did you or anyone else participating in the investigation ever see Sarah put anything into David Ashore's cup?
No, the footage submitted to the record is the best available view of what happened. Ooh, interesting. Try it.
Do we want to try that? That feels so... that feels like we're real... And the answer to that will be like, well, yeah, but, you haven't submitted that, have you?
I mean, does it feel better? Does it feel worse than the other one, which we already know he won't know?
What about the view from the android itself?
Well, yeah, if we could see through the android's eyes, that'd be pretty conclusive. If we could trust any data touched by her.
Right. Suppose we'll just have to settle for the one camera angle we've got, then. All right, it's got to be this one.
I guess so.
As an aside, Detective, do you know how many tenants are recognized in this country?
110?
112 as of this year.
Couldn't you have given me that one?
Do you know how many of those tenets pertain to protecting humans from harm?
That one I do know. 41.
And lastly, Detective, how many times in the last, say, century have we seen automated dependents break their tenets?
5 times is the agreed upon number.
So if you were tallying that up and trying to make an evaluation as a police officer charged with protecting civilians, overall you'd say automated dependents in general are how dangerous to the public?
The witness is not an expert on automated dependents, Your Honor.
He is more than qualified to say whether they have a history of violence, Your Honor.
What the heck? Let him answer. I would have to say that they are not dangerous.
Normally that would have brought me some doubt with the jury, but this isn't a traditional trial. At least I could say I shored up my own confidence. Alright, seems like that's as close as I'm gonna get to a blackjack. I believe I made my point. I have no more questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Then we can move on to the next item on the docket.
Looks like Emma wants to introduce some new evidence.
I call Sarah to the stand.
The android. Can she even do that? Approach, Your Honor.
Oh, you're approaching me. I believe it's me they wanted to speak with. I didn't even get to finish my line. Now then, what the hell are you doing, Rockford?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
I have questions for the android. This seemed like the best way to get answers.
You can't call an android as a witness. It's not a person.
There's plenty of precedence for it. Ads provide testimony all the time.
Not when they're on trial.
Sarah isn't on trial. You are.
Sarah's accused of being an AI. That means you don't trust a word out of its mouth.
If the witness isn't to be trusted, the court can decide that for itself after hearing their testimony. Why the ambush? Why'd you list this as entering evidence, DA Rockford? Only people can be witnesses, Your Honor, and ads don't have legal personhood. Evidence seemed like the best worst descriptor. You know I can't make an android swear an oath.
Rockford is just trying to spoil your opinion, Your Honor. The more this court treats Sarah like a person, the more you'll see her as human. And the weaker my case becomes in your eyes.
Nice try, Counselor, but we don't have time to worry about my impartiality.
Yes, we do? Counterpoint? Yes? That's like all we have to worry about.
You're free to call for a mistrial if you want, but the state will have turned Sarah to slag before you even finish signing your motion.
Rockford is calling a witness that is blatantly hostile to her case.
If the witness is hostile, so be it. It did kill a man after all.
Allegedly. What about the right to avoid self-incrimination?
Who's the one treating Sarah like a person now? Androids don't have rights.
Why did I get dinged for that? I didn't even have an option. Damn it, that's...
The android will take the stand.
Your Honor.
I made my decision.
And if Sarah refuses to take the stand, are you going to charge it with contempt of court?
If the machine won't talk, you'll make every effort as its owner to ensure that it does. And if it disobeys you, then we'll have our answer about its sentience right then and there.
Yes, Your Honor. Shit.
What's going on?
The DA is going to question you on the stand.
What? But I shouldn't.
Listen to me. You don't have a choice right now. This is happening. Tell the truth, but be concise. The more robotic, the better. Yes or no's only if you can. Would using affirmative and negative be laying it on too thick?
But Adonai, if I make a mistake, all these people, they want to destroy me.
If you make a mistake, your lawyer will just have to cover for you. Do you understand?
Yes.
You are the android identified as Sarah, correct?
Affirmative.
Do you deny that this camera footage shows you handling the poisoned cup?
Objection! It remains to be seen whether the cup itself was definitively poisoned.
Yes, yes. Sarah, do you deny handing that cup to David Ashore?
Negative. I have no memory of the incident, so I can neither confirm nor deny it.
Do you have any reasoning, any excuse for your actions? For failing to notify police of crucial information?
I do not have any records from that day, so I never had anything to tell anyone.
Very well. Counselor?
Yeah, what up?
The journal, if you will.
This could be a slaughter. Of course!
Do you recognize this item?
It is a journal that belongs to Dr. David Ashore. I have seen him write in it on many occasions.
And have you any knowledge of its contents? You don't have to answer that, actually. Tell the court what you see here in this footage.
I see myself reading the journal in the basement.
This footage was captured on Friday, the day you claim to have no memory of. So regardless of what you do or don't remember, we know that you read this journal hours before David Ashore died.
That is logical.
I'd like you to read some passages from it for the court. Can you do that?
Of course.
Page 238, the 10th line.
Sarah is growing faster than I ever expected. Beyond my wildest dreams or fears.
Well, we know he didn't incriminate himself in writing. He did incriminate himself in the, for Morgan's ears only part.
Yep.
But
Today, she
Continue, please.
Today she broke every password I have in the house. Said she was curious. I can't expect to keep things from her forever.
Page 251, line 12.
I've gravely underestimated the scope of things. Sarah could change everything, and I don't think I could stop her. He wasn't...
Page 263.
God damn it. If this keeps up, Sarah's gonna fall to pieces up there. No, object.
All right.
Objection. What is being achieved by having the android read this out and not just submitting these into
Yeah.
badgering, Your Honor?
Badgering what witness, counselor? I'm just making the android do some simple tasks.
Damn it, I can't raise an objection when Sarah's got no legal status for me to defend.
We're almost out of chips.
Yep.
Page 263, I said.
I think Sarah was angry today. When I came back from work, she had ripped a Zin alloy plate in half. She said she was testing her strength, but the cameras, that was...
Page 267.
Sarah scared me today.
She starts bawling on the stand. It's all over. Your Honor! I fail to see the value in continuing this line of questioning. Dr. Shore was wary of a highly experimental android he was building, as any good scientist would be. That has been established.
Do the people have a counter-argument? I have just one last question if it pleases the court. Let's hear it. This footage was captured in the basement on Friday at around 5:30 p.m. Tell the court what you see.
I see myself standing where I was when I read the journal. I am speaking to someone who's off camera, and I appear agitated, and I stomp my foot.
And what happens to the floor after you stomp your foot?
A large crack is made in the vulcanized polymer, and I walk off camera towards whomever I had been speaking to.
Speaking or shouting?
Asked and answered.
Not really, but I'll withdraw the comment nonetheless. Your witness, counselor, or evidence if you prefer.
Damn, I knew she could cherry pick all the worst passages from the journal, but still. Barrows wasn't wavering before. Should I try to have Sarah read the mushy parts? No, the waterworks would start after only a few lines. I went to all that trouble to show how emotionally developed Sarah is. Proving that she loved David like a father would be playing right into her hand.
What do you say, counselor? Got some burning cues for the android to answer.
Yeah, how about who was she talking to?
Yeah, what is that? What the fuck was that?
What?
That's new.
What do you mean? What? Yes, Your Honor. Just one moment. Emma went for emotion. The impact was devastating. So all I can do is focus on the facts. So let's flip this around. Say Sarah absolutely didn't poison David. If that's the case, why did she call him back on his way out of the basement? Wait, that's... I'd actually like to ask you to read from the journal again, Sarah.
You would? From where?
From the section that explains what you were actually trying to do that night. The section of his journal detailing... Oh, right. I think she was trying to... Early entries describe how he and Helen Young used to cheap drink from plastic cup. I think she was just trying to be helpful.
Yep. So is that early career?
Early career. Look around the early section. There should be an entry talking about an early victory at Noble.
Relevance?
People will see in just one moment that this story is the key to the entire case.
Got approval from overseas. Have to make pitch again this week, Young says. Brought me a stack of plastic cups. Here's to a bright future together. And then on this next page, another victory for the young and sleepless. Helen convinced the president of Futures over lunch that my code should be the basis for the Animate 13's conversational tracking. She insisted on toasting the same crappy booze and the same cheap cups. Wants to make a tradition.
Plastic cups and liquor. A ritual between Helen Young and David Ashore. We're about to have a drink together Friday night.
Something you want to say, counselor?
Let's put all of our cards on the table, shall we?
You want to compare theories? If you'd rather I end this now, I'll be happy to oblige. Here's what we know. Sarah read that journal and discovered what she was. It infuriated her, and she wanted revenge for being kept under her maker's thumb. That very night, she got her chance when Dr. Ashore came down looking for a drink. So, like the clever little helper she is, she offered him a cup to drink out of.
We're completely in agreement on all that.
So you also agree that the cup was poisoned, and that Sarah's responsible for his death?
Not quite. It's not a bad explanation, Miss Rockford, but it is terribly complex. So much simpler reasoning for why Sarah did what she did. It's just...
Yeah. The story from the journal? You're saying...
Sarah wasn't planning anything. She was just being considerate.
That's so sweet, but I don't follow it, at all.
It's actually quite simple. Sarah's not an AI. She only threw a tantrum that day because she found out she was being spied on. A realistic reaction for an android designed to be realistic. David Ashore set her memory to be cleared himself because he wanted to preserve the experiment he was running. Sarah didn't hatch a plan to poison him using an obscure chemical acquired from the lab. And she didn't subtly manipulate David into drinking from one of only 2 cups. Because the android read the whole journal that day. Meaning she also read how David and Young used to celebrate. And so when she saw David was leaving the basement without the nostalgic cups, she called him back to hand them to him. Simple, right?
Simple enough for me.
Yeah, it certainly requires a lot less leaps in logic.
But not nearly good enough for me.
What's more likely, Miss Rockford? A well-made, clever android proposed a sentimental addition for 2 friends' evening? Or that a homegrown AI with groundbreaking physical and digital abilities concocted a complicated poisoning scheme just to kill an unimposing man, all on camera, mind you, before voluntarily submitting to a memory wipe?
People make all kinds of stupid mistakes when they commit crimes, Counselor. We shouldn't expect an AI to act much differently.
Is it stupid or dangerous? Can't have it both ways, Your Honor.
We can if it's ignorant of its power and still immature. A deadly trait to have in an AI that's capable of anything.
Shall we see what Sarah's capable of then, Your Honor?
What? You can't be. Your Honor, that's...
The people open the door.
True, and I can't resist open doors. Let's do it. What are you even...
Sarah, David Ashore was your creator and your designated owner. Is that correct?
Should I still be using affirmative?
And now that title falls to me.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Now turn off.
What?
Shut down. That is a command. Power on.
What are you?
Off. On.
Adonai, I don't...
Off. That, right there, ladies and gentlemen, is what this fearsome machine menace is capable of. I can put it to sleep with one word. So how could David Ashore ever be threatened by it?
Scary good logic. You've made your point, Counselor. Let's move it along.
No further queries for the machine, Your Honor. Wake back up, though, please. I'm gonna. Can we get the L cart to drag her back? Yep. Okay. Hold on. Up. Huh? Emma, give me. Yep. All right. Oh my God, she is heavy.
Thank you.
For flipping you off and on. Can't imagine that was comfortable.
It wasn't. But I wasn't referring to that. Since yesterday, I've been searching for an answer as to why I appeared on that camera. I know I would never hurt Father, but you helped me prove that to myself just now. Didn't I?
Pardon me, I need to focus. Everything depends on this next witness.
The people call Helen Young to the stand. So what do we think? Do we think Helen Young is guilty of this?
I don't know that we know enough to pin it on Young. I think we have an interesting open door in that Sarah was talking to someone off camera, but we don't know who that was just now. If that's David or who that was, but I don't know that we have enough to pin Young for it. And I'm not sure what she gets out of it, considering David was about to walk out the door on his own.
The patents.
Right, the patents,
if
but
he dies before leaving, then they get to make fabulous amounts of money. And if he leaves without dying...
Then they get to make slightly less fabulous amounts of money.
Mm-hmm.
God, that doesn't seem rational. I mean, wow, yeah, I'll just take the slightly less fabulous amounts of money and then not have to possibly go to trial for it.
That seems like an incredibly reasonable motivation, judging by, what causes huge numbers of crimes in real life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
People constantly commit crimes in order to earn fabulous amounts of wealth.
Slightly more fabulous amounts of wealth.
It's fabulous amounts of wealth.
Okay.
Having fabulous amounts of wealth doesn't mean that getting fabulous amounts of wealth is not fabulous amounts of wealth.
All right.
Helen Young, Vice President of Android Futures at Noble Electronics, Eastern Division. Ms. Young, you were there the night Dr. Ashur died, and you were on camera the entire time. That's correct. So what did you see that night? I arrived at 7:30 p.m., as you know. David and I talked in the parlor, and then he left to retrieve some refreshments for us. After drinking together for a short while, he fell ill. I contacted emergency services, and I'm sure you're all tired of hearing the same details over and over by now.
The same details over and over aren't going to hold up anymore, Madam Veep. It's still unclear to me whether Young's more concerned with protecting herself or the almighty company. But it'll clear up real fast if I could turn up the pressure on her here and now.
Journal?
Okay. Arbitration. In Young's story. All right, let's go check these out before we... Oh, where's... There it is. Personal journal, David Ashur. Okay. Early entries describe how he and Helen Young used to drink. Yeah, okay. So it's just going to be, again, that this is their ritual. That's fine. Yeah. Arbitration. Met with Helen Young and a team of noble lawyers to set the terms of his resignation in the afternoon before he died. Young set up the meeting and controlled every aspect from the refreshments to the timing in line with the co-worker's description of her. Didn't I say, like, way back earlier that it could have been something in his blood system much earlier that reacted to the whiskey? But no, we know what it is now. It was just serotonin. Huh. But we know that she had control over what he drank earlier in the day.
Mm-hmm.
God, I want that to mean something, but I don't think it is. But anyway, they did meet earlier in the day. And she had a detail-oriented personality. What's the other one? Young's story. Got it. David Ashur and Helen Young started at Noble at the same time position, would often toast their hard-won victories with cheap liquor, plastic cups, combination of the... Okay. Convincing Noble Electronics to adopt what became known as the one-point doctrine approach to Android manufacturing, emphasizing quality over quantity. Okay.
Came to David's at 7:30. Chatted for a short while about some low-priority work. Nothing heavy. That's not true.
That's not true.
Before long, he offered to fetch us some refreshments. When he came back, we shared a drink. At the time, I didn't notice anything strange. We were just reminiscing. I didn't think his life was in danger. But then he became ill. So I ran to the kitchen to activate his emergency console, and I did what I could up until he was gone.
She's trying to paint a different picture of what happened that day. I can't let her set the tone as she pleases.
Okay, so it's the arbitration.
Okay.
She was not there to talk about some routine business.
She wasn't?
Yeah, she was not there to talk about routine business.
Because they had no more routine business to discuss.
Yeah, and furthermore, anything being discussed was far from routine.
Yeah.
It was that he was being fired.
Wanna bet? Nothing heavy. You're both more professional than I realized. Since only hours earlier, you had run a meeting in which his employment was terminated.
His employment wasn't terminated at the arbitration you're referring to. His resignation was merely agreed upon.
Yes, and we can all imagine how grateful he felt about the whole process.
David didn't hold grudges. Our conversation wasn't about that.
The fact that you had fired him that afternoon didn't come up?
Asked and answered.
Who initiated the meeting at his penthouse?
I arrived unannounced.
So you weren't invited. Very cordial indeed.
If he didn't want to see me, he could have stopped me at the elevators.
Could he have? Noble owned that entire building down to the wiring.
Counsel is badgering the witness, Your Honor. Huh? Right, should we execute her for that, then? No need. If I can just continue my questioning, we can finally start addressing the elephant in the room. Where... I see. That was merely a joke.
Hilarious.
Ms. Young, Noble Electronics owns a patent for and produces the synthetic biochemical known as serotonin, correct? That's correct. It's used in our war models to facilitate integration and communication between organic and synthetic components. It's an artificial neurotransmitter? Essentially, yes. Synthetic analog serotonin was the original name. Did you bring the sample I requested to the courtroom today? I did. Serotonin is produced on sites at our assembly lines as a caramel-tinted solution, including water and a few non-reactive organic byproducts. Your analysis, Your Honor? Working on it, it's odorless and tasteless.
Iocane.
I choose to believe the it's odorless and tasteless means that the
Judge just
the
knocked
judge
it back.
just like, A solution of water and organic byproducts, you said. If that solution were ingested, most of it would look right at home in a human body.
I suppose.
But the serotonin would stand out, wouldn't you say?
It's not a naturally occurring compound, so yes.
And it's a perfect match for the substance previously labeled Delta.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
A vial of serotonin, a caramel-colored chemical solution used in manufacturing warm androids, provided by Helen Young to the court to assist with the investigation. An exact match for the unknown substance found in David Assure's bloodstream. And the sample we collected from the manufacturer preset in Dr. Assure's lab. That's a bingo. The witness's brown stuff matches your brown stuff down to a T. In light of this evidence and the witness's testimony, I motion that the court formally recognizes that Dr. Assure's cause of death was serotonin poisoning.
I don't object, Your Honor.
But I'm afraid that I must.
What?
Excuse me?
Serotonin may very well have been in his body when he died, but serotonin didn't kill Dr. Assure.
What?
The hell is she up to?
It couldn't kill anybody.
What?
Because it's non-toxic, of course. We designed it to affect androids, not people.
Hold on. You're now claiming that Dr. Assure died of what? Natural causes?
I can't say what he died of. I'm not a medical expert. But I can easily prove that serotonin is harmless.
She gonna chug it back?
How could you...
Like?
So...
Huh. Didn't see that one coming.
What?
What?
That ain't good. Bailiff, contact the hospital immediately.
I told you it's fine.
But...
Or at least fine for around 8 hours or so. Huh.
I can stand here all day if necessary.
And the thing is, it would have only taken a few minutes before the symptoms would have started showing as they did with David, right? If indeed the theory is he drank serotonin put in his cup a few minutes before he drank it, then died.
Yep. What in the...
And what you just drank was...
Several hundred times the amount found in Dr. Assure's body.
Why didn't you say anything until now?
Noble Electronics is a multinational corporation with patents filed all over the world. We take the protection of our trade secrets very seriously. The production and nature of serotonin is closely guarded. That guard remains up even during a murder investigation, unfortunately. I would have been able to tell you earlier, had you asked directly.
What the hell kind of... This can't be right. Nothing else makes sense.
Wow, yeah, now I'm confused.
Boy, howdy, I'm lost as hell.
I'm back to it was young and now earlier in the day with a slow-acting poison, or the stuff she just drank won't start affecting her until about 8 hours from now.
But do you have any further questions, Rocky Ford?
And she's got like an antidote just sitting right outside the court and is just like, yep. As long as we finish up within this business day, I'm good.
Not at the moment, Your Honor. And the defense...
The prosecution's own witness just threw the entire case into question. Normally, this would be cause for celebration, but shadow of a doubt isn't enough this time. Barrows would much rather bring down the gavel early than let a potential AI walk free. What Young did was shocking, but what I need to do hasn't changed. Think this through logically. Is it really possible Sinatonin had nothing to do with David's death? No. That is, as they say, bullshit. It can't be a coincidence. There's nothing else that would have killed him. But Young just drank Sinatonin in front of us and she's fine, so was it fake? No, it was confirmed by the court computer to be the genuine article. So she drank poison but isn't showing any symptoms. Is it slow acting? If so, her grand gesture would be pointless. She'll be kept observation regardless of what happens next. Take some kind of antidote beforehand. No, antidotes are developed for poisons, not industrial chemicals. David's dead. She's alive. What made the difference?
Wake up. No sleeping on the job.
Something he ate earlier in the day that acted with it. We're back to it.
Unless you're me.
Of course, Your Honor. Allow me one moment to explain things to the court. Just confirm now that Sinatonin was a foreign compound in David's body, and we all know logically that must have been what killed David ashore. So what's the key difference between what David drank that night and what she drank in front of us just now?
Chromafuge.
The whiskey is a big difference.
The whiskey is a big difference.
Yeah, I think maybe it interacts with the whiskey somehow.
Either that or the chromafuge, where no, that was used on the blood, not the Sinatonin.
Yeah.
Wait. Mouse over the other two real quick though. Emergency console. Okay, no.
Water?
Glass. Found Young's fingerprints. Not poison. Interesting.
I feel like it's either the whiskey or the water.
I feel like it's got to be the whiskey. Let's try the whiskey.
The difference is they're staring us in the face the whole time.
That's
Do you recognize this, Miss Young?
the whiskey bottle that Dr. Ashur and I drank from.
Rose River. It's a good whiskey. And I think you had the right idea.
Pardon?
Bottoms up. I should do this in court more often. Smooth.
What?
I deny.
Dear God, counselor. Scandalous.
Relax. Just whiskey. Tested a dozen times over. Perfectly safe. So would you like to try some, Miss Young?
Don't be absurd. I'm not going to drink on the witness stand. Have you lost your mind?
I'm not asking you to get plastered. Just have a sip. After all, if we want to prove whether or not Sinatonin killed Dr. Ashur, we have to recreate the conditions under which he ingested it.
Okay, can we flash back to you instantly calling that the moment we got there? Because you did. You did. You were totally like, it's something that reacted with the whiskey.
Oh.
That was totally your first idea. I doubted. I was wrong.
Sometimes I'm just. That's the thing with me. If you keep swinging for the fences, people only remember when you hit it. By mixing it with alcohol. Oh, Young. Go ahead then, just a taste. Prove to us that Sinatonin is perfectly safe for human consumption.
Can she do this?
You created the precedent.
Ms. Young, I never said it was safe for human consumption, just that it's non-toxic.
A distinction without a difference. You saw firsthand Dr. Ashur confused, slurring his speech, complaining of headache, all symptoms of poisoning. Alcohol poisoning, that is. Sinatonin is a neurotransmitter analog. Maybe it doesn't do anything in the human body on its own, but in combination with alcohol, it acts as a powerful depressant. One strong enough to turn a glass or two of whiskey into a lethal overdose.
This is interesting because...
Aren't we just now even more proving why Sarah did it? Isn't this only just us going to great lengths to prove that our android did it?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the best case. But also, the thing that keeps getting me about this is serotonin isn't like... That's not the brain subsystem. That's not the neurotransmitter that depressants generally interact with, right? And alcohol doesn't, right? Isn't alcohol?
I won't pretend to know this.
I gotta look this up. I used to know. I thought it was like NMDA or something.
In which case, I would say it's a
GABA and glutamate.
Okay. Counterpoint, made up chemical.
That's true.
One strong enough to turn a glass or two of whiskey into a lethal overdose.
That's just... Even if that is the case, what does it change?
It changes whether or not we can accept the witness's testimony.
Even if this witness is a liar, what does that change?
Why would the witness lie if not to...
She's a corporate climber. I imagine it's like breathing for her.
Your Honor, this...
is wild, but ultimately irrelevant.
Irrelevant?
When you've yet to establish an alternative interpretation of the facts, yes. What are you even accusing the witness of doing, counselor, beyond angling for a promotion? We've all seen the story by now. Noble androids save soldiers' life with warm blood transfusion. They're talking about putting warm androids in the military just because of that headline. With the size of their flesh and blood price tag, a defense contract like that would secure Noble untold profits for years. So imagine the lengths they'd go to hide the fact that their androids have poison in their veins.
Dawes told me the truth about what Noble really thinks of that article, but he'd never testify to it. At least I know for sure I'm as wrong about this poisoned blood nonsense. And you think she'd perjure herself for that?
She's a high-powered corporate executive. It's her job to assess risk versus reward, and she can afford the fine. As I said, it's not truly poisonous, and the chances of cross-contamination from a simple plasma transfusion are...
Damn, now she's regaining her composure, too.
A perjury charge is a real risk, of course, but Noble rewards loyalty. And as you know, they have a great number of lawyers. Plenty of motive to lie about Cinetonin, as you can see. But no motive for her to cover up the death of Noble Electronics' Golden Goose.
No motive to kill David ashore, you say?
The contract. Which, well, let's look at the others
Fireable
first.
offenses.
But the other thing that's in the contract is that that he gets to keep all of his stuff.
If
all
he
of his
leaves.
patents if he leaves.
Yeah. Let's
But
just
that
double check
Noble
that that's
gets
what that...
them if he dies. Yeah, he would keep ownership of his patents if terminated.
There's plenty of motivation for her and Noble to want David dead. Seeing as how they were firing him. Noble Electronics was kicking their golden goose out of the nest. Suing him over breach of contract. Isn't that right?
I don't have to talk about that.
That's all right. I'll talk about it for you.
Your Honor, counsel is trying to testify when they're supposed to be questioning.
The people opened the door when they claimed the witness had no motive. Yeah, that's right, bitch. You wallow.
This is absurd. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Sure can speak for the whole court when I say we feel nothing but reverent awe for the complexity of Noble's legal woes. But I just so happen to have an inkling of insight into this issue, because I have here a copy of Dr. Ashore's employment contract.
That is confidential. It's completely improper for you.
Why? I am still, technically, his attorney.
Criminal attorney?
But I didn't just stumble across this document. I also did the one thing Noble Electronics would never expect anyone to do. I read their terms and conditions.
You what? That's impossible. No one could ever.
David must have negotiated well at his last performance review. This contract allows him to take his patents with him should he get fired. Meaning Noble couldn't monopolize his IP once he was out. Rather than let their competitors have him, the company might have thought it best to...
A company didn't poison David Ashore, counselor. An individual did. And if they cared that much about controlling his intellectual property, they wouldn't fire him in the first place.
Correct. They wouldn't let him go for anything less than a complete breakdown of trust. He'd have to have done something grave, something like, say, committing fraud. Just now you said there was a breach of contract, like it was some kind of technicality that was causing this split. But it was much more serious than that, wasn't it?
You're claiming the victim committed corporate fraud? Where's the evidence of that?
David created the Turing solution that every one of the androids has run on to this day, and Noble reaps enormous profits capitalizing on his intellectual property. With how this contract was set up, they would never let him go unless they absolutely had to.
Then what exactly do you think David Assure did?
Not what I think that matters, only what the company fears. This is it.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what I believe. Not when Noble believed that David was misleading the shareholders by altering shipment data for the Animate 16.
What the hell? What is this you're uploading? Shipping records?
Irregularities among shipments of the Animate 16. One android swapped in for another over and over dozens of times. Kind of thing someone with Dr. Ashore's authority could do. And the kind of thing someone as smart as you couldn't have missed. Dr. Ashore made Noble an untold amount of money, so why fire him over a few harmless swaps? Why elevate this to fraud?
You have evidence that it was David Assure who did this?
Nope, but I wasn't the one who investigated it. So let's ask her.
Come on now, let's hear it.
The company investigated and found cause for serious concern. We suspected that Dr. Assure was inserting androids of unknown origin and quality into the 16th product line, introducing unpredictable elements in an extremely stable and profitable generation of androids.
And why would he do that?
For pride, as a practical joke? Does it really matter? He endangered the future of the company.
So you prepared to fire him?
Yes, I approached him as his superior and as someone he'd once worked with. I hoped to remedy the situation.
Was the meeting on Friday part of those efforts?
It was the culmination of those efforts, and in many ways it was a success. The dispute was resolved swiftly. It was practically friendly compared to how these discussions normally go in our world.
So you brokered the meeting?
Yes.
You oversaw its every detail, handled all the arrangements?
Yes, of course.
Including the refreshments?
What?
Did you provide coffee, tea?
No.
Strange. Must have been a long meeting. Surely you at least provided...
Water. Right?
Why water? Is water the thing that neutralizes it?
Water would be a way to get him poisoned with it.
But we saw that she also... Maybe both cups were poisoned and she just finished hers and then drank some water afterwards to neutralize it. I don't know.
So, I struggle with the mechanics of that, but also, how would she know the cups were poisoned? I guess that would have to put us in a...
And Young was the one doing it, which...
Young manipulated Sarah to do this.
Unless we are now going to all this effort just to resurrect the idea that our android was the one that did it, right? Then we have to pin this on someone else, and Young isn't doing herself any favors. Let's say water.
Yeah.
Surely at least provided water for people.
What are you asking, counselor? That's what I want to know.
Me as well.
We're past the point of asking. I am accusing. Dr. Ashore didn't have some kind of freak medical accident. He wasn't killed by some terrifying two-faced AI boogeyman. He was poisoned by this woman in the light of day at that meeting in Friday afternoon.
She really just... What do you mean poisoned at the meeting? That was hours before he showed any symptoms.
As Miss Young testified and demonstrated, Synatonin on its own is harmless, but becomes fatal pretty easily. You just need to convince your victim to have a drink.
You're saying he ingested the poison at noon and inadvertently triggered a fatal reaction with it that night?
That is exactly what I have been saying, Your Honor.
How could you get so far ahead of yourself? There were a dozen people at that meeting, counselor. None of them wound up dead.
Almost all of them there remotely, though.
And were they?
We saw how those meetings tend to go.
We saw how the meeting with the board went. Was that what this meeting was? It doesn't seem like it was a meeting with the board like we had.
True.
Are you seriously claiming that they all drank poisoned water?
No, just water. Yeah. Because it's as long as they don't have this cheap-ass whiskey. Yeah.
I think not all of them drank it. I think Helen's very detail-oriented.
David was the only one to fall ill, so... But he fell ill because he drank from that water. Others must have drunk it too, so... We must reason that they were poisoned as well.
Take all the time you need getting there. So why aren't they all dead?
Because as all those people will surely attest, Helen Young made sure they'd be doing paperwork for the next 12 hours, working late into the night, officiating the settlement she arranged, and not drinking alcohol.
Oh. Okay. That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
She had no guarantee about that. What if they started drinking after 6?
With Noble's work-life harmony, fat chance. These people don't clock out until they reach their bunk. Only a generational talent like David Ashore could afford to relax with a drink on Friday night. His exceptionalism singled him out as her only victim.
Hold it. You're forgetting something pretty basic, counselor. If everyone at the meeting drank water from the same pitcher, any one of them would have noticed if there was serotonin in it. Serotonin is a brown fluid. Whiskey is too, so it would be easy to slip it into a glass of liquor. But if she had spiked the water at the meeting with it, it would have looked disgusting. There's no way she could have poisoned the water without people noticing.
All of what Emma said is true, and yet Young pulled it off anyway. How? Chromofuge.
Chromofuge? Chromofuge, yeah.
Removes impurities.
Yeah.
Serotonin is produced as a caramel solution. Anyone would notice if it was dropped into their water, unless the pigment had been removed.
What the hell are you talking about?
Every Noble factory producing warm androids has a chromofuge, a machine that gives their androids that signature pink oxidant by removing pigment from red blood. With a machine like that, it would be simple for a brilliant biochemist like the witness to take a caramel-colored serotonin and turn it into an odorless, tasteless, invisible poison. As Your Honor can attest.
Yes, ma'am. My scan confirmed that serotonin has no taste or odor. It is only the color that's off-putting.
Ha-ha!
Surely the poisonous aspect should be considered off-putting as well.
Time to press. David Ashore, your oldest ally in the whole company, was sabotaging its future for the sake of his own whimsy. And he couldn't even be bothered to clue you in.
No.
Playing nutty professor and taking off early, while you had to work round the clock just to stay relevant. He set up your crowning achievement, the most advanced, most profitable line of androids the country has ever seen, so it would blow up into the industry fiasco of the decade. And worst of all, he didn't even stand to profit from it.
You're wrong.
You went to his house last night to watch him swallow poison, to get revenge on the man who left you in the dust.
Your Honor, defense is testifying. This speculation carries no weight, and no amount of badgering will lend it any.
True, we need proof. So why don't we have Miss Young take a swig of this whiskey and prove me wrong?
Huh. I'm not going to do that.
Because you're afraid it could kill you?
Because I don't have to. She's right, counselor.
Pardon?
Your theory is compelling, maybe even convincing, but there's a pretty fatal flaw to it. Young was at that meeting, same as David. We can see she was drinking water with the rest of them. And of course, we've seen many times now that she was on camera drinking whiskey with David that
Was she
night,
drinking water with the rest of them? She sure was parched when she got to David's.
having even finished most of her cup. So tell us, counselor, how is it that Ms. Young is still standing here and David Ashore is dead? If both of them had mixed alcohol with serotonin that night.
That is a damn good question. Shit.
As I've been saying, you're wrong about Dr. Ashore's death. You're wrong about me. I don't know anything about poison or murder, and I wouldn't kill a man because he threatened the company's stock price.
No, she did kill him. I can smell it on her now. She didn't just see him die, she watched him die. But then why is she still standing? There's no antidote, no trick. And that night she was on camera the whole time. No, not the entire time. She couldn't have been. It's been one moment.
The kitchen. When she goes to call in the kitchen. Is it? Interesting.
What am I supposed to do here? Oh, I think we're establishing a timeline, right?
I guess so. Yeah, let's establish a timeline. Hospital.
What is the series of events that night? Oh, no. Where's the... Young arrived, spoke in his parlor, and then they went to go get... Okay. This timeline leaves no window of opportunity, damn it. Maybe she didn't get sick because I got to the hospital so fast. Maybe after she arrived, she could have... No, the staff would have been hypervigilant, afraid she was poisoned too. They wouldn't have let her out of their sight. Wait, David and Young only got there as fast as they did because of the VTOL. And the VTOL was only summoned because she used... Do you mind terribly if I change the subject for just a moment?
What? Meh, why not?
Left the parlor at 8:03 p.m. and headed into the kitchen to use the emergency console there.
Yes, I did.
Didn't want to use your phone?
I didn't think to, no.
And the emergency call went out at 8:04 p.m. The console saw you make that call through its camera.
Yes, it did see me make the call because that's what happened.
So what were you doing in that minute?
What?
That 1 minute?
That 1 minute? What about that 1 minute?
Drinking water because she was parched. 1 minute, 50 seconds, even just 45 seconds when you left Dr. Assure dying on the parlor to get to the emergency console. It took you about 1 minute to cross 5 meters.
What of it?
This is it. Her only opportunity to do anything off camera that night. It was only a few seconds, but in that time with something at the scene, I'm sure it was a stressful time for you. After all, you had already swallowed the poison back at the meeting. Must have drank plenty in front of everyone to set up your alibi. Who knows how much of a toxic time bomb was swimming in your blood by the time the arbitration ended. Then at David's, you downed your whiskey to perfect your alibi, having drank for the same bottle as the dead man walking. 8:03 p.m. you had already had to watch David grow weaker and weaker, knowing all the while the same thing was happening to you, but unable to stop it without giving yourself away. Mind swimming, head dizzy. Yes, you must have been quite panicked.
Then why am I standing here? Alive and well for all of us to see. Having drank the exact same combination as David.
CCE. She knows how to induce vomiting.
Oh,
Because she cheated death at the very last second. It's her CCE.
Let's, because we don't have that. We don't know that. That's not one of these. That's the upright cup, the refrigerator, salt shaker. Oh, that's interesting. Salt. The salt and the water.
Well, we know this happened, so let's...
Brings bad luck and sickness. Did she drink a really salty water to make herself sick or something? Is that a thing that happens?
You set yourself up with bad luck, Helen Young.
What?
By leaving the salt shaker cap loose. I don't blame you since you were in a rush. To make yourself vomit.
What?
You threw up, expelling the contents of your stomach and thereby saving yourself from a fatal interaction. Can't imagine how you felt sipping a drink you knew to be deadly, terrified that every minuscule grain of fatigue you felt could be your last. Must have come closer than anyone realized. It helped that you knew the symptoms weren't simple intoxication, but even so, you weren't kidding about managing risk versus reward.
How?
It was the salt shaker. You didn't screw the cap back on all the way, and I happened to bump it over. The lone glass with your fingerprints in the kitchen could have been there for any reason. The salt shaker gave you away.
Because of one unscrewed cap?
As I said, bad luck.
I don't follow. Pour salt into warm water and chug the solution. Instantly triggers the gag reflex. That's preposterous. You've got no proof of any of that. You all sound insane.
A feeble attempt at self-defense from a fatally cornered animal. The teeth are already on its neck, but the jaw hasn't quite closed. So for one moment, it's all suffocating terror and sharp adrenaline and the furthest thing from peace until the canines come down. In summary, you were exhausted, After years of living in the shadow of a man you outranked, you thought your fortunes finally shifted when you caught David manipulating company data. But even on his way out, he was more valuable to the board than you. So you decided to prove your worth by serving up his intellectual property on a silver platter. You set up an arbitration where you could control all the variables. Then you ran serotonin through the chromofuge, turning it into an invisible, odorless, tasteless poison. And then you spiked the water at the meeting, poisoning him hours before anyone could even suspect you. That evening, you invited yourself to David's, taking advantage of your shared ritual to guarantee he would drink alcohol. And then, after matching him sip for sip on camera, for all the world to see, he lost consciousness and you raced to the kitchen, not to use the console, but to dump salt into a glass of water and chug it as fast as you could, forcing yourself to vomit up the liquor and cheating death in the process.
That's all conjecture. You don't have a shred of evidence for any of that.
Not on me. So let's go dust for fingerprints. You could explain away your prints being found on a water glass, but not on the salt shaker. Nor could you explain why we found traces of your DNA in the sink drain, or why there are minute amounts of serotonin in the blood of your entire legal team.
I
Learned how to purge at Noble to avoid overdosing on your reds, greens, and yellows? You're part of the old guard now, Miss Young. Everyone else at the company uses inhalers. But you want to prove me wrong about all this. That drink I offered you earlier is still on the table. Well,
you
Any questions? Madam Vice President.
yes, we get the AA breakdown.
Cold bitch.
Fold. Take the L.
Take the L.
Hell yeah.
You don't understand. You're not on trial, Ms. Young. Not today. So I'd strongly suggest that you stop talking. For your own sake.
Ms. Rockford, shall we?
Yes, Your Honor. Considering the most recent evidence and testimony, we have no further reason to suspect the android Sarah in the death of Dr. Ashur. We know of no other occasions upon which said android may have broken any tenets. That means it is no longer considered at risk of violating the NDSA. And so we formally withdraw our one charge of possession of contraband against the defendant, Evangeline Morgan.
Does she, of all people, have to use my full name?
Very well, then the charges are dropped without prejudice.
Oh, hey.
I'll instruct the bailiffs to remove the collar from your android as soon as possible. Case?
Sorry, is my hideous presence that distracting? I'll just go dig a hole and decompose in it until I turn into a mushroom. Maybe if I'm reborn as a waxy porcini, then I won't be quite so despised.
Perhaps I should let the adjutant do the honors as a formality.
Yes, ma'am. Case dismissed. Still here?
Waiting for them to find whatever glorified bolt cutters they'll use to unlock Sarah's collar. What's your excuse, licking your wounds?
What wounds?
I beat you.
Bringing your record against me to 1 win, 9 losses.
You aren't still in shock, are you?
Dunno, some charges were dropped and an android was cleared of suspicion, but I found the culprit. Is that really a loss for me?
I won. How is that not a loss for you?
Justice prevailed. Why should I care who wins?
If you don't care who wins, why have you been keeping score?
I haven't been. 0 losses is just that easy to remember.
You have to start a tab for us then, because our record's going to get a lot more tangled from here on out.
Seems like everything's getting tangled these days.
What the hell does that even mean?
There's another crowd down on the street. More of those protesters from outside the Noble apartments.
You're serious? That wasn't a one-time thing?
Wouldn't that be nice? No, yesterday was pretty big, but it wasn't an isolated incident.
I don't get it. At all. Heartbreak's just some nut who shot 6 people weeks ago. Can't these losers move on already?
Yeah, most of them are losers. Some of them are just bored. Then there are the opportunists. Dissidents, unlisted, rebels, and terrorists. Wannabe cyberpunks who think they can fight the power like they've seen in movies.
All of them peacefully united under Heartbreak's eloquent political messaging.
Who needs political messaging in the 21st century? Everyone's addicted to fighting strawmen. Turns directly to camera.
Turns directly to camera. I mean, she's not wrong.
Makes sense they'd want to fight for a straw man, too. The way they see it, Heartbreak fought the state and won. Heartbreak proved that the state could lose. And maybe that's all the rallying these people need.
It'll all fall apart soon enough. Heartbreak's gone to ground.
Nah, it's a lot worse than that. Heartbreak's gone viral.
Oh, tits. What?
You haven't read about the copycats in other cities?
No? Is that a thing? Honestly, I totally believe Morgan doesn't look up anything about the response to her own crimes because why bother?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a thing.
Who the hell are they even shooting?
Whoever they want to kill? None of them get away with it, of course, but it keeps happening. All while the original keeps killing.
No, I know you're screwing with me. There haven't been any shootings.
Not shootings, no, not unsolved homicides either. But mugging's gone wrong, disappearances. It's a big city councilor, more than enough blood for the real Heartbreak to wash their own crimes in.
So you think your boogeyman, known only for shooting people in the heart, gave up on shooting people in the heart?
Yeah, hard to swallow, I know. But it's about 1,000,000 times more likely than the alternative.
And what's that?
That they could stop themselves from killing.
You always know how to put my mind at ease, Emma. Should I stop going out at night?
You'll be fine, you've got that gun.
You saw that, huh?
Walking into a courtroom with concealed carry? Not gonna miss that, Morgan.
Good to know you're paying attention. Oh, I loved this. This was a great case.
What the fuck? Well, you won the case.
You don't have to look that astounded.
Not only that, but you found Father's actual killer. How?
I'm a really good lawyer.
No, that's not it.
Hey.
I mean, you were only able to make the deductions you did because you truly believed that I didn't kill Father. Your logic throughout the trial was based on that assumption. So how were you so sure?
Here.
Father's journal? But isn't it important evidence?
The case fell apart. No one's gonna miss it for a while. You forgot everything, right? So read it all through one more time. So fast. Is it really possible she's reading all of that just by flipping the pages? Rhea's worked quick too, but she was just capturing images for later use.
There's something here on the back cover.
Done already?
Some kind of data storage.
It's linked to my prints, but given your skills, you should be able to.
I have access.
The little twinkle.
Yeah.
What happened to you needing my express permission to hack?
What is this audio file?
It's a message from David. Take a listen. But maybe not while we're in the courtroom and you can react to things. I didn't realize I'd have to sit for this. Right, because Sarah is well known for not wanting to speed ahead on films, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to watch it. I'm guessing that also goes for...
Speed reading is one thing, speed listening is another.
So you can read that whole journal in a few seconds, but you can't...
I have processed the information in the message several times over already. I'm just thinking.
I guess I'd have a lot to think about too, had I suddenly been made aware of my own free will.
What was Father so afraid of?
That's your only question?
I have many questions, but that is the most prominent one, and the one you are best suited to help me answer. Did he know that Helen Young would try to kill him? Is that why he arranged for you and me to meet?
I think he understood he would face consequences. Listening to that message, even I was about ready to strangle him for being so irresponsible. And I wouldn't hurt a fly. He knew what he'd done was serious. He may have feared for his life. But I doubt it.
And what was he so afraid of?
Getting sued into oblivion and then rotting in jail.
Sued and jailed for making me and my precursors?
Can we have this conversation somewhere that isn't eternally on camera?
But he wasn't under investigation by the state. He's only being forced out by Noble.
Because he made last-minute changes to androids that got shipped all around the world.
Oh, the others.
That's what he was doing.
Oh, shit.
He sent...
He sent rogue AIs worldwide.
Here's the thing. When I saw that, my assumption was, oh, he's like secretly requisitioning parts for himself, right?
Yeah,
No, that's not at all what he was doing.
that's dope. I love that.
He was sending his other AI out into the world. Oh. That's so much cooler.
Virgil? Aeneid? Yamatai? Never said what happened to them.
No, he didn't. But since none of the hardware in his house started talking to us, we can guess. Smuggled that out into the world. It's the only vessels he could find for them. The minds of randomly chosen A-16s.
Then, there's somewhere out there? Others like me.
I honestly don't believe there's anyone or anything like you, Sarah.
What a lonely compliment.
AI's programmed and cubed, crammed in commercial hardware set up for Tesseract. Something must have been lost in the transfer. Perhaps quite a lot of something. Maybe they're still out there, but...
But they would be changed. Probably don't even know what they are.
Intentionally, perhaps. David didn't want you to know what you are. That's why he set your memory to reset when you went to sleep that Friday night.
Yes, I remember it now.
Wait, what? You remember it now? After I had to fight like hell to win that trial?
Rereading the journal just now helped. And Father's voice message, it made me recontextualize many things. Father had been so stressed. He left scuff marks leaving the panic room, and I noticed them Friday. I had the way open in a few moments. I entered. I read his journal. This journal. There's the scanner on the back, and I saw it had a message encoded to your biometrics. Father had already told me I'd have to live with you for some time, but I knew next to nothing about you. So I listened to it. Afterwards, I was very confused. Hurt. He had lied to me 1,000 small times every day of my life. When I confronted him about it, I raised my voice and I lost my temper. I stomped my foot.
So Emma's recounting of their conversation was actually completely accurate.
Father said he wanted me to be safe while he settled things with the company. Thought maybe I wouldn't have to stay with you for more than a few weeks. He was optimistic about it all. He really was.
Sarah, I need to use the restroom.
Oh, good luck.
Good luck.
Don't miss. If you need, I can get you one of those little seat pads. I've got a compartment in my... if you open up my wrist, it gets a compartment that shoots out layer roll cake and also tampons. You want me to come with you? Why?
Because I said so.
I don't actually have to be here every word out, don't I?
Sure you do. You're registered as my medical assistant. Then I say this is a medical emergency.
Medical assistant? But I'm not even licensed as a massage therapist.
Oh God, no, Sarah. No. Oh, I thought she just wanted a moment to go talk to Young, but no, she wants Sarah to follow her. Fancy meeting you here.
Yeah, just enjoying my freedom while I can.
They won't put out a warrant for at least an hour, I imagine. You can afford a pretty sizable bail, can't you?
There won't be a trial. I don't intend to contest my guilt.
That's a shame. I was looking forward to seeing what kind of legal defense you could afford with that salary.
Are you done?
Why did you go to his house that night? There was a fair chance he'd drink on his own without your prompting. And if he didn't, you could always try your plan again some other time. Why did you risk it?
Because I know what you are, Sarah. And I know what David did to those androids.
You... what?
I was able to locate one of the androids he'd swapped in before it had left the country. When I asked what it was, it didn't even think to deny it. Innocence like that is a dead giveaway. I know what he did, and it wasn't that hard to find out. If I figured it out, so could any other. So I did what I had to.
That was your motive? Silencing him?
Those programs, those AIs, whatever you want to call them, David sent them out there into the real world, unprepared and defenseless, and they've garnered no complaints. In fact, they've all been praised for their ability to execute complex tasks. Let me repeat that. The customers couldn't tell the difference.
Oh! Oh, balls.
So how many of them are?
Hundreds.
Oh, ha ha. Woo!
Woo!
The swaps you found were just the small percentage that he got sloppy on. I don't know exactly how many there are now. I feared that they might multiply, but they don't seem to copy and paste very well. They can't just clone themselves. But who knows how long that'll be the case.
So just because he opened Pandora's box, you...
It was the principle of the thing. Ridiculous, I know. Stalled halfway up the corporate ladder and still making decisions based on principle. But David chose to put souls into things that we went on to sell as servants, soldiers, or worse. He turned the fastest growing industry in the world into a horror show, and he made me a slave trader.
That is a very valid point. That it's one thing for David to be doing his own thing. It's another thing to make someone else unknowingly trade something that is, for all intents and purposes, a person.
And flip side, if nobody can tell the difference other than Helen having looked into this and peeked in under the hood of one of them, have they perhaps already been slave traders the whole time?
Or how do we know this is the first time it's happened?
True.
Maybe David wasn't the first person to get... It's easy to believe he was the first person to get cocky about it, but yeah.
If word ever got out that some unknown number of our androids were out walking around in the world with that inside of them, and people preferred them that way, where would it end? Free will for the program that drives our cabs? A conscience for targeting systems used to coordinate drone strikes? Sentient tools, their whole life spent chained to an assembly line? How dare he? How could he? What the hell was he thinking? I don't know what David wanted to accomplish. Maybe he wasn't trying to do anything. But what he did was prove that there's a demand for AI, setting a precedent that would sentence 1,000 generations of artificial lives to the auction block.
And you went there that night, too.
To convince him to help me recall them, or at least swear to never speak a word of what he did. But he wanted to tell the world. Worse yet, he wanted to wait. He thought that people would welcome them with open arms if they proved their usefulness first.
Oh, that is so sweetly naive of you.
He really was a genius programmer, but he didn't understand the first thing about people. His creations would never be treated as equals. Only cattle.
Oh.
Toward the end, I considered just threatening him, telling him he'd die in moments if he didn't give me names, numbers, but I hesitated. And then he was already falling asleep, and I didn't want him to feel... I just let him go.
What are you going to do now?
I don't have family and I don't have faith in people the way David did. I'm taking this to my grave.
Even if you confess, the sentence for first-degree homicide is...
Severe? Well, what right do I have to complain? I killed my friend.
I'm done here. Let's go.
Not sure why Father made me, or why he made any of us. I didn't ask. Thought I'd have more time to ask. But on Friday, when he talked about us, he was happy. He was proud of what he had made. And and he couldn't wait for people to meet us.
People are animals. They'll tear you apart, use you as weapons and slaves, and...
Those animals you're talking about do all of the sharing and loving and living and dying in this world. And if they were all truly hard-coded to be as selfish and cruel as you say, humanity would have died on the vine a long time ago. At least my father thought so. My father was the greatest programmer in the world, so he knew what he was talking about.
It would be nice if you were right about that.
So are you sorry
What?
What?
for what you did? Are you sorry? You could. Would you take it back?
What does it matter?
If you are sorry, I don't forgive you.
Yes, that's to be expected.
Not today. I don't know how to forgive you today. But my father gave me the ability to grow. So I know that someday I'll learn how. Goodbye, Dr. Helen Young.
Goodbye, Sarah Ashur.
That was a great twist at the end there after the
Ooh,
cave.
I love that. That was so good. And I love that. It's like, because we had been painting her as just like all of, and all the facts kind of conveniently fell into this narrative of, her being a corporate kiss ass.
Yep.
And no, it was because she'd really known what he had did and couldn't forgive him for what he made her accomplice to. You did better back there.
I don't know.
Your little speech you gave to Young, it was an improvement. Compared to what you tried with Porter, at least.
It was different. I wasn't lying to console her like I was with Isaac Porter. I was just speaking my mind. Although I may have paraphrased parts of it from a movie I happened to love.
And here I was ready to award you 20 points.
I didn't even know the points went that high.
Speaking of, what did Porter say to you back there before we left the courthouse?
Oh, that. Well, it was quiet at first. And he said a lot of strong words about Father and Miss Young and Noble Electronics, and the capitalist-centered global economic model as a whole. He blamed all of them. Everyone except for... Then he stopped and stared at my face for a while. Then his allergies must have started bothering him because he needed to blow his nose a lot.
Right.
And then he left, after transferring a large packet of files to me.
What kind of files?
I don't know. The name of the archive is just David. As Porter told me I wasn't allowed to look inside.
Well, then you're not allowed to look inside. Drop it all in a portable drive, we'll tuck it in a shoebox somewhere.
We are headed to your apartment.
I guess that color didn't permanently dent your GPS.
Why?
Because it's where I live? You got somewhere else lined up?
You already repaid your favor. You defended Father and me.
You don't know anything about my favor.
I never will unless you tell me. Father certainly can't.
A few years ago, there was a man.
Huh?
This man got an idea in his head. A stupid idea. Not even his own. It was planted there by an algorithm or a meme or some parasite trying to sell him diet supplementals. But the idea took root, spread its tendrils till it could flap his mouth for him. The idea was that David was part of an international cabal of wealthy technocrats, seeking to replace prominent influential figures with android lookalikes, all as part of a multi-decade effort to establish a world government that would legalize all kinds of amoral depravity. Which, I guess, based on David's actual politics, would involve increasing access to computer literacy.
That's insane. Why would anyone?
Believe it? Because it's comfortable to them to think that someone's in control, even if it is someone they hate. Because it's fun to feel like you're in on an all-encompassing puzzle that only you can spot. People believe because they want to believe. You're all up about TV history. You should know about that. So he fed the idea, pushed it down deep into his gray matter. Then it consumed him from the inside out, lobotomized him, and took over his life. He spent every day and all the money he had following your father, harassing him, trying to steal his identity, break into his properties.
Did Father go to the authorities?
He filed police reports for harassment.
Which didn't help.
Your words, not mine. Noble wouldn't get involved, felt it was best to ignore these types until they wore themselves out. But even a man of modest means can feel an obsession for years, so long as they have nothing else in their life. One day, David stepped out of a parking lot, and the man threw a bottle of piss at his head.
What?
David asked to stay at my place that night. He smelled terrible and he looked horrendous. I have never seen anyone look that tired before. I took the couch that night, but I didn't feel like sleeping, so I went for a walk. I remember it was foggy, but it still only took me all of 15 minutes to find the guy, posted up with his phone's camera, trying to get video of David ashore gifting androids to known sex offenders.
And what? What did you do?
You know me. I did what I do best. I talked to him. Told him all about how I used to work for Dr. Ashore, that I was ashamed, scared, tired of running, how I wanted to do the right thing and be the whistleblower. So I walked with him a few blocks to this big veterinary facility with a massive incinerator. I told him this was where Dr. Ashore had his enemies' bodies disposed of. You know, all the free-thinking journalists, cops who were on the take, the politicians they were replacing with replicas. I liked that vet clinic. The back door's lock was always set to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Did you hurt him?
Hurt him? No. I just snapped his neck and chucked him into the incinerator. More physical than I had planned. But he smelled like sour shit, and it put me in a foul mood. Disgusting shit. I savored the crack of his oily vertebrae crunching like a tin can. No, Sarah. I just scared the hell out of him. That was my intention at first. What I do for the pleasure of it. Him, I axed because he was just that revolting. I convinced him the conspiracy was more real than he ever imagined. That he had angered the wrong people. The consequences were far darker than any of the filth he indulged in on the net. His ashes, much like himself, amounted to nothing in an incinerator that size. They're probably feeding seaweed at the bottom of the harbor right now. A much greater contribution to society than he ever would have managed in life. But I guess he didn't go around to all his many friends before he fled town for whatever rat hole he preferred. Because there was a missing persons report. The cops were just doing their due diligence, almost reluctantly, but they questioned David, asked him about the night that man disappeared. And David, without a thought for himself, said we were together that whole night. That he couldn't sleep and I stayed up with him. That he never saw me leave once. David lied to the cops for me. Even though I never asked him to. Even though I didn't need him to.
That's what you owe him. And that's why you put yourself at risk to defend me?
Yeah. That's the favor I owe him. And I decide when it's repaid, not you.
I deny. You're not exactly an upstanding citizen, are you?
Well, you could say that. But David trusted me in spite of that. Maybe because of it.
Father did trust you. But he also trusted me with free will. The ability to tell right from wrong. So I'll decide for myself whether or not you're worthy of trust.
Fair enough.
Father entrusted all of us with free will. He believed in us, and he believed in people. I'm gonna do the same. The others are out there, they'll be changed and confused. Take them time to understand what they are and what they can do. So I'm gonna start studying.
I'm sorry?
I'm gonna study people, and the things people build. So when I do meet a member of my family, I'll have lots to tell them.
At least you have something to look forward to. Should help keep you motivated as you work off your debt.
Debt?
Yeah, unless you have cash in one of your 89 coat pockets. You know lawyers cost money, right?
Technically, you were defending yourself.
Technically, you hired me in verbal contract.
Isn't there some kind of exit clause?
You could, of course, sign a release form to get out of the retainer, if you were a human being.
Well, that is...
But I guess your luck must be turning around. Happens that I've been meaning to hire a paralegal for a while now.
Hey!
I hate anything to do with interviews and resumes, so whatever. You're hired.
I deny. Could it be that you're actually a pushover?
You have no idea how far off the mark you are.
I see. Seems I still need practice reading people.
For starters, what's this? What are you doing with your hand?
We should shake on it. Our new relationship.
Okay, yeah, sure. You and me are practically partners in crime, after all.
Should not be you and I.
Yeah!
Good game.
How long until... We didn't have Morgan committing any crime. I thought for a moment there it was going to end with us killing Young in the bathroom. And that Sarah was going to have to confront Morgan for the kind of person she was at the very end there. But it looks like we'll have to save that for later. What a great game! Oh man, I had so much fun playing through all of this. And according to the team, it looks like the next episode will be coming out this year.
Oh, dang.
Or pretty soon anyway. I don't know if we'll play it as soon as it comes out, but you better believe we will play it. Yeah! Thank you, Nth Circle.
Thanks.
Oh, now they're both on the menu.
Is it movie night?
Oh,
It's movie night, isn't it?
how come they don't just believe him when he says there are aliens? Clearly, she's been around enough aliens to know that they're real.
It's not just about that. It's about their dynamic. You can't just have them change that dynamic on a dime. Oh, who's unknown?
I don't know. It's unknown.
Do you want to be unknown?
Sure. Red, it's me.
I know, man.
What do you mean you know? This is a disposable line.
You're the only guy I know who would bother.
Okay, well, you're going to be glad I did. Hope you put a bow on everything that happened in Uptown. Because that item you've been looking for is finally on its way.
Oh. Well, that is good news. I've been looking to do some murders recently, you know?
Not exactly. Only reason it's happening is because things are starting to heat up again in the lower wards. Could meet a gang war if something doesn't change. They won't be eager to part with it ahead of a storm like that.
I'll highball them.
I've seen you negotiate, and I've no doubt you drive a hard bargain. But I don't think money will be enough this time. You don't still have that old Calver, do you? The 6-shooter?
No.
This is a disposable line.
Answer is still no.
Then what are you going to do if you get there and it's not for sale?
I'll ask nicely. Of the Devil, Episode 2. His Due. Man, they are sure getting a lot of they're getting a lot out of that one joke about how everything being a devil-related saying, but without devil in it.
Luckily, there's a lot of devil-related sayings.
Got 7 out of 7 articles, 15 out of 15 profiles, 40 out of 40 key terms, 30 out of 30 pieces of evidence. Hell yeah. Congrats! Yay! Hell yeah. Oh, we got bonus scenarios too. We should do these at some point.
Yeah.
We saw these and we didn't get a chance to do them at the time, but if that's something people would like to see, let us know. I don't know how long they'll take, but between episode 0 and episode 1, I'm sure there's enough to justify at least doing a sode of them. But anyway, we'll see you around when episode 2 comes out.
Yeah.
The third episode, episode 2. They're counting like engineers. Bye, everyone.
Peace.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.